We're going to call. Welcome, everyone. First of all, I do see a few new faces in the crowd. If you are here for your very first ACT meeting, could you stand, please?
Hello.
Right. Introduce yourself.
I'm David Smith. I was in the Adams family and saw the email. Here I am.
Good for you. Welcome.
I'm Alex's sister, so you know, if I say sorry or whatever. I build paint stuff.
That's good. We like building paint
We
people.
like building paint people.
All right. Well, welcome, everyone. Thank you. Oh, missed one. Oh. Oh, okay. Welcome. Welcome. All right. I'm going to have Matt Robinson or Becky Macrino. Which do you want to go by?
Either one.
Do you want to explain why?
Well, Becky is our new secretary, but Becky couldn't be here. So Matt, who was our former secretary, is filling in for her. So Matt, take it away.
All right, the previous meeting was called to order by Bryce at 7:04 p.m. The only new person in attendance was Ann Dominic, who is directing She Loves Me for us in September. Bryce congratulated the cast and crew of Adams Family on a very well done, and very well appreciated show. Thank you to everyone who helped make our season a success. The previous minutes were approved unanimously. A motion by Jerry, seconded by Alice. A brief financial report. Generally speaking, we were in really good shape with a few big building projects to do. So we could use some donations. Rails and Tales is happening on this 20th, looking for volunteers for the planning committee and the day of the event. Summer drama camps are nearly full. We're still looking for the listed screw gun. Looking for some office
we ever find
volunteers. Just need like an hour or two at a time organizing stuff. There were a few committee updates. The Penguin project is being moved to the fall as we look for a venue. The artistic committee discussed that they had found directors for our first 3 shows. Ann Dominic directing and choreographing She Loves Me. Holiday Wonderthon will be directed by Sam Wagner, and Our Town will be directed by Dan Evers, who is the new theater professor at the Mount. The committee is in the process of finding someone to direct Oliver, as our rights for Fiddler were denied. I gave you a quick update on the building committee. We organized the basement, working with Betwy on a fire detection system, which is a big expenditure. And Tara had met with Jim Riley. In the city snakes the pipe to our building, trying to resolve various flooding issues in our basement. Eric Wolf shared that we had found some new members for the board for next season. Eric also shared that the Isaac Awards were coming up May 2029. 19 schools from 6 different counties. Our title sponsors, Reliance Bank and Bill Pencil, are our biggest supporters. And we have 4 colleges giving scholarships. No updates. There's a game day coming up the following day, run by the membership committee. Meeting was adjourned at 7:34. Motion by Tom, seconded by Jerry. Passed unanimously.
Entertain a motion to approve and accept the minutes. Seconded by who?
Donna.
Oh, hi, Jonathan. Second by Donna. Any omissions, corrections to the minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor? Opposed? All right, thank you. Just as an update, we do have a director for Oliver. the artistic committee had put forth a name and the board approved. Who was that,
Yes.
Matt? So Matt has been accepted as our director. Congratulations. All righty, moving on, Tara.
Mostly, I just want to say season subscriptions are open right now for tickets for the entire season. There's a stack of brochures on the table there. Marlene, right in front of you. Please take brochures and leave them everywhere. Hand them to your friends and family. Season ticket sales are going very well, but there could always be more butts in seats. So just pass that whole stack down, Tom, and let the people have the subscription brochures. I have half a box over here. If you have businesses where you can leave them, that'd be great as well. Yeah, right now, the big thing in the office are the season tickets and Rails and Ales, which Michelle's going to talk about in a little bit. But yeah, season tickets. Individual tickets don't go on sale until right after Labor Day, the 6th, which is that Tuesday. And that's all I have to say for today.
That's it? Okay.
We have enough other stuff.
Yeah. All right, moving on. So next on our agenda is one of our main reasons for meeting this evening, and that is to give the director of our first show an opportunity to discuss the production. So, Anne, if you would like to take the front of the house here, talk about She Loves Me.
And we are recording, so talk loudly near the camera. Come stand over here. Don't worry about blocking me. Yes. Nope, that's your butt. Take us. There you go. Perfect.
Hi, for those who don't know me, hi, I'm Annie, depending on when you met me, as Steve always said. That was always say your last name, Diminick. So I'm directing the first show, She Loves Me. If you don't know the show, you actually do. You've probably seen You've Got Mail. You've Got Mail is an adaptation from the original work, which is The Perfumery, which is a book. It then went on to the play, the musical She Loves Me, and later further adapted into You've Got Mail. So we have a story of two lovers who do not know their lovers. They started corresponding anonymously, then they meet in person, and things don't go as well. They decide that they hate each other and immediately become enemies, go working together every single day. The animosity towards each other grows, while the love for one another also grows in their letters. In that supporting cast, we have everyone from the owner of Perfumery, an elderly gentleman, to a small, naive delivery boy who just wants more responsibility. And basically everything you think of in between, a very active ensemble. For my particular view of the show, if you're familiar with The West Wing or anything Aaron Sorkin does, he kind of was noted for doing what we call a walk and talk. I think this show keeps moving, and if it doesn't keep moving, then you should just always be watching, almost like tennis match, because these ideas are going back and forth, so the audience should also be following constantly. So in things like transitions where you normally have a blackout, you might see a dancer coming across stage or two actors just walking, because all of a sudden you enter into a new realm. So a lot of the directing ideas that I've kind of taken into this is that this world is imaginary, but it's everybody that you know. It's every character is constantly having something going on. If you need a character in the first transition of a scene, you might see them 3 scenes later, and the guy that they were talking about was with their friends, they're now walking down the street with, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember them. And it kind of grows, and you'll have side characters who don't really have names, but the ensemble comes with their characters in these small tableaus. I really see the show as kind of family to me because my grandmother, on my mom's side, she loved the book. And she talked about the book with my mom when she was younger. And then my mother loved You've Got Mail. And she and I, that was our movie. And then I went to see She Loves Me, it became my favorite school of all time. So the story is kind of passed down to generations for my family. And I'm always romantic, so it helps. I too love the show. I've seen it in person. I've watched it too many times to count. I've read the book. I've seen the movie probably more times than years in my life. And I truly, truly just love the show and would hope that the audience can feel the love that I'm going to put into it through the cast who have so much fun with it. Hopefully I will garner a happy and joyful and positive environment. It's a quick turnaround for the show, about 6 weeks of rehearsal before we get into the show. So slightly intense as far as rehearsal goes. This show has about 25 songs. But intense and solid. I'm also choreographing, so that's a nice thing. You'll always know where things are going because I'll always have in the back of my mind what's happening next. But if you have any questions, I'm totally open.
So you have a breakdown of characters, males, females, et cetera?
Yes, I do. They are online, but as well as characters. Ooh, I'm gonna. Yeah. I have them, but I'm going to show my notes. Okay, so we're gonna go in order of appearance. You have Arpat, who's a delivery boy. The age range I was going for was 16 plus, someone who looks younger. If they're 25 and look like they're 15, that's fine. And these are all suggestions as far as ages goes. If someone who's 15, 16 and auditioning, someone's 14, I picked 16 as an abstract age, more for someone who didn't drive themselves to rehearsals and have a comfortable environment. Being older, the show has slightly mature themes at times. Nothing inappropriate for adults. Seacoast, who is an older family man. He is dedicated to his job and more so dedicated to keeping his job. He's always concerned about losing it, and he loves his friends, his family. If you've seen Ted Lasso, think Higgins. That is who I kind of find inspiration from whenever you think of Seacoast. Alona, she is flirty. She is highly intelligent, though you don't think it. She's your average dumb blonde. She uses her body and her dressing in order to sway people the way she's thinking. So she's not just all looks and kind of airy. She always knows what she's doing, even if her heart doesn't know what it's doing. You have Kodai. The whole idea of this character is that the audience should leave the theater going, I don't know if I love him or I love the fact that I hated him. So he should basically encourage both of those emotions in you. He is sleazy, he is greasy, he is basically the villain of the show. But at the end of it, you should go, I don't want to like him, but I love him anyway. He has a
Sorry, guys.
No, you're
Sorry.
good.
he has a very grandiose kind of vibe to him. Think of somebody with a big fur coat and a cape walking into the room and just immediately declaring he is here and then you say it. You have George, which is your Tom Hanks character. If you're thinking of You Got Mail, he is your romantic lead. He walks on stage and the entire audience just go, okay. You should maybe like him. Everything he does should be endearing, except that he has a backbite. He has to snark that whenever he's talking, especially with Somalia. But he's just kind of like, I just love what you're wearing. And Neck can do this kind of a backbite that still makes him lovable. You have Marichek, who is the shop owner. So he is dedicated to his family, dedicated to his shop. He is not necessarily perceptive. There's some things that fly over his head constantly, which gets him into some trouble throughout the show, but not gonna get that way. Then Amalia, who is your Meg Ryan, she is a romantic lead. She is nervous, constantly doubting herself. But whenever she's talking to George, she knows exactly what she's saying. She gets tongue-tied and she's very confident in selling, but not always confident in herself. She is very funny. She's enthusiastic about what she does. She's in love, and she doesn't care if he knows it. Then you have your waiter, who is a very what's the word? Enthusiastic. He takes pride in his job. He's not the owner. You think he was, but he's not. He's a bit flamboyant. He's over the top. He wants everything to go exactly as he plans, and if it doesn't, all hell breaks loose, which of course it does. Lots of chaos, which is where the dancing part comes in. That is the busser. That is again a part of the part that is a non-singing role. They are in the end of Act 1 large group number and the end of Act 2 large group number. There's no singing required for that role. So if you have a dancer who is in your life, you're like, they love theater, they'll do some theater at dance, but they don't necessarily feel comfortable singing or speaking on stage. The role has 3 lines, if that, and they're all ad-lib, and then mainly just dancing the entire time. So if you have someone you would love to get encouraged into the theater, please tell them to come out and bring that. That is a separate audition on the 2nd on Tuesday for just the dancers, so they don't have to attend a singing call. It's simply a dance call. The ensemble is made up of several, about 4 or 5 women and about 3 men. That ranges between the 3 shoppers who sing in harmony constantly, so preferably alto, soprano, mezzo. Going for those roles, they are any ages whatsoever. So that could be someone as young as 16, 18, to someone who's however old they want to audition for. There's no ages. They're simply they're shopping for their husbands. So as long as you're old enough to be married, I think is the requirement for that one. And it's the 30s, so that age is as low as you want it to be. And then you also have a couple more female shoppers that go around. Mr. Keller, who is a PI, who double as ensemble, as well as the end of the show has the 12 days to Christmas, and that is a double as a choir member. So someone who's a stronger vocalist will also be in that cast. The ensemble is a ton of fun. So even ensemble is only in the end of Act 2. In my version, they are completely scattered through all the transitions, and they have their own little lives.
Just go over audition requirements.
Audition requirements. Sorry, guys. So auditions are Sunday and Monday this week. There are 2 different time slots on each day. They start at 6 and at 8. Please arrive 15 minutes before that with a selection that is 24 to 32 bars long in the style of the show, but not from the show. It is heavy acting, and that's mainly what I'm looking for with voices, is that you are comfortable in a character that you've chosen already and are interested in, and then bring that music that complements your selection to the show and the auditions. The reason that we're having 2 different time slots rather than a night of auditions is because I am also going to be conducting a movement audition. It is not difficult. It is not a dance audition on purpose. It is a movement audition. It is approximately 4, 5, 8 counts. It is simple, and it's not major in your casting it, so I'm able to see simply how well you move and what work will you be put into the production. And then as well on Tuesday, we're hoping to have callbacks starting at 6 o'clock with the separate dance call, and then at 6:45 or 7 following with callbacks for the cast from auditions on Sunday and Monday.
All right, any questions for Ann? Okay, thank you, Ann.
Plan tomorrow, our Facebook post for the day on the ACC page is going to be a video that Ann and I put together that kind of almost dumps down like all of the audition stuff. It's kind of silly fun of it, but it'll be really informative and also
Auditions for
watch it.
dummies.
So check out that around between 4 and 5 tomorrow. Share all the shares more. Shares, you know, will help forward out there last week for auditions, and we think it's going to make it feel more comforting to people because it's the director who's directly like talking to the league and everything like that. Because auditions can be really intimidating, especially if people aren't used to it. And like last year, we want to keep on the rule of for any people coming. Yeah, auditions for dummies. No, kind of yeah.
All right,
Well, and we are still looking for a couple of production team members. We need a producer, if anybody's interested in acting as the producer. And the lighting designer we're still looking for. So heads up, or if you want to work on the show, let Melinda know, because she's stage managing. And Jimmy Dugan is assistant stage managing.
all righty.
And Jade is filming.
Next on the agenda is a discussion of one of our most important fundraisers for the year, which is going to be here before you know it, and that is Rails for Ales. And Michelle, come on up and
So the
talk.
mic can pick you up, yeah.
Rails for Ales?
Reels and ales.
Good
Prepositions.
evening, everyone. If you don't know me, I'm Michelle Barnes. I am the chairperson for Rails and Ales, which will be this coming Saturday, August 20th, starting at 2 p.m. for our VIPs, and then the general admission 3 to 6 p.m. And I think we have a really great start. We have a title sponsor. We have a lot of good sponsors. We have 2, possibly 3 food trucks. We have 7 distributors coming, like 8 or 9 breweries and counting. We have a distillery for the first time ever, so there will be somebody sampling some whiskeys and other things. We have a winery. We have live music from Matt Sheedy and Company, and then our headliner is the Pennsylvanians, which is a great band. If you haven't heard them before, they're fabulous. What we really need are bodies. We need volunteers from our group. Starting at about 9:30 in the morning on that Saturday, we have to set up tables and we set up tents or does do they
We
do
have the
that?
pop-ups.
We have a pop-up, but we need, especially for that, like, we need some strong people to unload tables from trucks and set them up. We will need people back at approximately 6:30 to break those things down. During the day, we need help just with, especially if you're ramp certified, we could use people because sometimes our brewers and distributors are short staffed. So they need people that are trained and certified to serve. We need people to just mill around helping people. For the event itself, from probably, I'm gonna say 1 o'clock until 6:30 when it's over, it has to be 21 up for our volunteers. But for setup and breakdown, we can have younger people 18 and up, preferably high school graduates. But if you know of college students that need some community service for a fraternity or another organization, we shoot well. The Sheets Fellows would be good. I'm gonna try to reach out to someone from there. We used to get some volunteers from Penn State Altoona. It's a tough weekend because it's their moving weekend. So it's a tough weekend. They used to have a program that moving weekend for volunteers. They've done away with that because it's got so much else going on. But I'm reaching out to people at Mount Aloysius and St. Francis to see if they have any people around. But mainly for our members, and I will say this is a little perk. If you volunteer during the time of the hours of operation, we try to give you some time to also enjoy the event, which means you basically get to partake. So please spread the word about that. Like and share our posts about Rails Nails. If you haven't already liked our Rails Nails page, like that, share those posts. The more we get the word out, the better. And I really hope to see a lot of you all there because it's a great event. It's a lot of fun. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Courtney,
Yes, yes.
stand
Oh,
up,
yeah.
please.
Yes, Courtney is our
This
volunteer
is-
coordinator.
yes.
We do whatever
This
we
is-
want. Yeah.
This is Courtney. This is Courtney. She was lost and she is again found. So thank you. Courtney is our princess of volunteers.
Yes.
And she's been known to come knock on your door if you don't respond to emails. So take that for what it is.
And we do
You
have
did
a
not have the answer, Bryce.
we do have a detailed list of where we need people when, and exactly what you would be expected to do and for how long you would be expected to do it. That will be posted on our Backstagers page and emailed out. Yes?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
want to talk to people about what you're able to do. If you
Yes.
can't lift 25 pounds, then you can't help us with the setup, for
No.
example.
But you might get
Ever used the guys from Pyramid Healthcare for setting up and tearing down?
I'm a little bit concerned about having people in recovery setting up.
For Brewfest.
That
and,
seems like mean.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we can talk to the people out.
Yeah, we talked about it, but I don't know. That feels weird.
Yeah, same reason why we don't feel like we should have high school students.
Yeah.
Like pointed out, even though it's technically helping a community theater, it's helping a community theater.
It's the optics that may
Yeah,
not
we wanna
go
be
well.
very cautious about that. But if you know of other local, I know I've heard about another service organization in the area that just like has young men and women that go and do things. I just can't think of who it was. I think that some of the other like local service clubs and things have groups. I might reach out to some of those and see if they can do this sort of thing. But you know, we're. Oh, good to know. We have a source of board trucking, a board member, Rick Ray, so we have to find out about that.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Courtney, yep, that'd be great.
Yeah, we have the link for the sign up front on a sign too. So
Yes.
we get your availability and any preferences of jobs or any limitations that you have all in one form, get all of your contact information. And yeah, we did send a huge email out last week from the ACT emails. A lot of those times, those emails don't get to people. So if you volunteered for it in the past and you didn't see the email, or you think like you just weren't asked to be back, you probably were, and makes you fit, or rejected it because Gmail doesn't. So please, if you want to be there, ask your friends. Like she said, we make sure you get to enjoy something in that too. The more help you have, the less work everyone has to
We
do.
thought we could.
And if you're not getting the emails and you're subscribed, you need to add them to your address book and then they'll come through because it won't mark as spam.
And especially if you have Gmail, if we're coming into your spam or promotions folder, all you have to do is take one email, drag it into your regular inbox, and it'll say, do you always want to do this? And you can say, yes.
Yeah, Gmail is really filtering our emails out.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating. We've done some things to try to correct it, but it's still happening.
Mine's particularly bad.
Oh, fantastic.
Don't know why it's sent to your email.
Yeah.
All right, any questions on Rails Nails? Please participate.
And spread the word and recruit people. If they're not ACT members, they're still welcome, and maybe they'll have such a good time that they'll just sign right up to be a member.
And as I mentioned, this is truly one of the most important fundraisers we do all year long. And we want this to be as successful as possible because it helps keep us on the positive side of our balance sheet. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, along that same line, the next thing on the agenda is we need some help in the office. We need people who can help us make phone calls to subscribers who haven't yet renewed or following up on some of those communications or data entry. If you feel comfortable using a computer, we can absolutely give you instructions on how to enter the information into the software that we use to track everything, but we need people who can sit down at a computer and help us fill in some gaps in our data because we need to get it transferred, and then life will be a lot easier. So FYI, just give the office a call or an email. We are in the office Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 or 6. But if you want to come in the evenings, that can be accommodated, I am sure. Because I'm there a lot. Yeah, thank you.
All right, next on the list, just to reiterate, if you haven't seen the postings already, we are providing a workshop called Crying on Cue.
Yeah, and I was hoping that Emily would be here, but she's not. I don't, right? She's not coming,
Correct,
right?
yes.
So Emily and Jordan conducted some exercises during the recent show at the church in the middle of the block that Michelle was part of. Yeah.
Really good at helping you just to find some simple ways to enter emotions on stage.
Yeah, so Emily and Jordan have offered that to ACT members. It is a simple registration online, and there's information about what to expect on that day. So what to come prepared with and everything. So that's only $10 if you're an ACT member and $15 if you're a non-member. It is Saturday, August 13th. Yes.
And if that still doesn't work, I'm sure Michelle can hook you up with some special drops. We'll do the same. All right. Moving on to committee reports, the artistic committee, Jonathan.
Hello, everybody. Jonathan, I recently took over as chair of the artistic committee. I am not technically a member of the artistic committee because artistic committee is elected by the membership. But in this instance, we happen to have 7 individuals on the committee, none of whom are members of our board, and our bylaws stipulate that the chair must be a board member. So I am conducting the meetings, I'm organizing the committee throughout the year, but I don't get a say in any of the decisions. So just now realizing what a bum deal that is.
How very unrewarding that can be.
But if you don't know what the committee does, so first of all, you can't.
When he talks, they will listen.
So you can't join the committee right now, but I'll tell you what the committee does. The committee selects our season. They select the 4 shows that we do at the Mission every year. They take recommendations from the membership. We read a lot of scripts. We listen to a lot of soundtracks. We try to come up with a balanced season that we think our audiences will like and our performers will want to be in. and our crews who want to build costumes and sets and all that kind of stuff for it. So it's a real balancing act of what's hopefully going to make us money, but what is hopefully also going to be rewarding for the people who are active members of our organization. And then we present that a slate of shows in February along with 4 alternates. And then in the end, the membership, everyone here gets to vote on that season. At that time, we also rotate about half of our committee off. So it's a 2-year commitment when we join the artistic committee. So every year, about half of those members leave and we elect another group. If you attended our February meeting, you knew that there were lots of strong, good opinions shared in that meeting. It got a little contentious, but it ultimately was a great conversation. What always seems to happen is we have those great conversations and then we say, okay, who would like a bigger say in all of this? We don't get many volunteers. So every member gets a say in what the season is. If you want a bigger say, if you want a little bit, if you want to contribute even more, please consider next February raising your hand or sending an email before the meeting saying, yes, I'm interested in serving on your committee. I just think it's a really good education into how ACT works and what goes into a community theater and building all of that stuff. To me, it's like Don and I both sit on the United Way board, and you should always at least once be a part of deciding who gets all the money that we raise throughout the year. To me, the artistic committee is that same committee for ACT. So I strongly recommend you join it. Right now, we're in the process of just scheduling our meetings, and I will be giving Tara a form that we're going to send out to the membership asking for suggestions for our 2023-2024 season.
Okay.
Any questions about it?
All right.
Just stay up here and talk about other committees.
Well, you can talk about personnel,
Okay.
right?
I'm also currently vice president, so that makes me the chair of the personnel committee. The personnel committee is not a terribly active one. Normally, when things are going great with our personnel, so we don't have anything to deal with. We are in the process now of working with Tara to establish kind of an annual review process so that we can really define what her job responsibilities are, and we can prioritize them, and we can find ways to set goals and all that kind of fun stuff.
Do you have it?
That's kind of the biggest.
Do you need members on your
I
committee?
could use members on that committee, particularly if you're someone who has some management experience, if you have any kind of HR experience, you know, that kind of stuff is always helpful. I have some management experience. I don't have the HR experience, so we kind of keep, I'm losing her name, Heather Holzer on board, but we can use a few more members to that committee. And then third, I'm also currently the chair of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. I don't know that I will be, since I'm taking on the artistic committee, and that's a big job. We might be looking for a new chair for that committee. But 2 years ago, when George Floyd was killed, and we saw protests, and we saw things come to the surface that needed to come to the surface. A lot of nonprofit organizations chose to not say anything. Unfortunately, some did. Some put messages out on Facebook and supported, which is great, but went no further. ACT decided that we didn't want to just end with a nice Facebook post, so we formed an ad hoc committee. We are slowly getting off the ground. We're working right now to craft a diversity policy for the organization that will be submitted to the board for approval, and it will be published easily accessible on our website. We're going to look to build aspects of that into all of our documents when you come to audition for a show and all that kind of stuff. The great thing about this committee is we weren't given a specific charge, so we can kind of, the sky's kind of the limit. So if you want to see more people of color on stage, if you want to see differently abled people on stage, if you want to see differently abled people in our audience, on our board, anywhere, join the committee, bring your energy and your ideas. We will welcome them, and we will do as much as we can. So that's my pitch for that committee. I think that's it.
Yep, you're good.
Okay, good. All right, thank you.
All right, thanks, Jonathan. So just to continue on that theme of committee members and being a part of the different committees, there are obviously a couple of committees that are spelled out in the bylaws. yeah, you can't just join the artistic committee, it has to be an election. But most of the other committees, we're looking to add to those committees and have a say from the general membership. The committees are not supposed to just be members of the board and a chosen few. I want these committees to be working committees. I want them to be alive. I want them to be coming up with new ideas. Well, I'm going to be stressing this year that all of our committees have a series of goals of what they want to accomplish. So spread the word. We are going to be putting the list out to the general membership of the committees and what the functions are of each of those committees, much like what Jonathan did this evening with his committees, to make sure you understand exactly what committees are out there. And I want you guys to really seriously consider volunteering to be a part of at least one of the committees. Obviously, we can't put everybody on every committee, but if we get some general members more involved in that respect, it gives you more of a say in how the organization is functioning and what we're doing moving forward and what our long-range plans may be as we start to investigate some other options, as we tend to want to long-range plan and add some functionality to the group. So please consider. That being said, Janelle's not here this evening. All right, we'll bypass that. Eric Wolf has agreed to be the chair of the building committee this year. Eric, I believe, is out of town right now. But again, we are actively seeking individuals to be a part of the building committee. That committee is extremely important. You know, our most expensive asset, obviously, is that building, and we don't want to lose it in any way, shape, or form. But that takes some tender, loving care in a facility that's that old, and we need to always be looking to the future and looking to where we need to budget money in order to make things happen, to keep it up and running. I mean, it isn't always about just how pretty it looks. It's about the bones of that facility. For instance, this year, we're going to be spending over $20,000 between the two projects. Yeah, on things you don't want to do, but you have to do. So please consider being a part of that group. New marketing, Michelle, anything to talk? Hi, Michelle.
You scared me.
She just took a drink of something. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was water. Oh, sure, it's a seltzer.
It's got alcohol in it. It's seltzer. Hi, I'm also the chair of the marketing committee. And our goal is obviously to just get the word out about all of ACC's wonderful productions, all of our workshops, our summer camps, what we do for the community, how we do it, the fact that it's a volunteer organization. We have a pretty vibrant committee. We're always looking for more members. If you have an interest in marketing, I definitely would be willing to take a couple more people on. One of the things that marketing committee members are asked to do, and we have enough people that doesn't have to be every single season, but we ask you to be a marketing liaison for a show. That role is basically to almost be like a extra member of the production team for that show, where you communicate with the director, with anyone else that's involved with the vision for the show, to make sure that that's getting out. We do have some consistent and cohesive things we do for every single show. In particular, since last season, we really try to make sure we get out and meet the cast post, meet the crew post for that, to let people see that, to promote the show. We try to do some giveaway contests, like a date night for each show, where we have a gift card to a local, hopefully a downtown dinner or out in the area like the Hardee's restaurant, and we promote that. Give away 2 tickets to the show. So if you have any interest in marketing or just promoting everything we do, let me know.
All right, thank you. Okay, the last thing that we're going to touch on this evening is the 75th anniversary celebration. As you know, we've been talking about this for a couple of years. Well, in less than a year, we will be embarking on that 75th anniversary season and kicking it off in June with a gala.
Yes, Karen Volpe is writing a script that acknowledges many of the shows that we have produced in our 75-year history and all those seasons. She has written a song, I guess, that includes like one line from every musical we've ever done. It's gonna be cool. Yeah, it's, if you've ever seen anything that Karen Volpe's written, you know it's gonna be a smash. So that'll be awesome. I think she's working with you too, John, I think on that, right? Yeah, so between the two of them, it'll be Botho. And then we're following the show, which all of this is happening on June 17th. So mark your calendars now. We did already send out save the dates to people who are out of town. Some in-town people, I think, have already gotten them as well. June 17th, 2023, the show is at the Mishler, then we're following it with a reception at the Collins. So we'll be looking for more hands-on help as we get closer, but planning is well underway and has been for a year already. So we're excited. We're very excited.
All right.
June 17th. Oh, I hope that's the right date because I got it in my head wrong at one point and that. Yes,
That's
it is a
right.
Saturday. I have it right now. Yes. I gave Ellen a heart attack at one point. I was like,
All right. Any announcements from the group? Events, anything coming up that you want to point out? Yes.
oh,
I'll just do it from here.
I
Uh-huh.
guess, if you
Okay.
insist.
I'll try to be loud. I don't know if I can do that. So as many of you know, Woody and I'm Marilyn Platt, my husband Woody and I run sometimes a little theater out of our church. But it's not church plays, it's, it's plays. And really got me on this, we were talking about the diversity, I think it's on, yeah, she has some flyers there about the auditions which are coming up this following Saturday and Sunday at 2 p.m. So we don't interfere with your auditions. We also don't interfere with the show. It will be the weekend, I believe, after your show or before one of us. But what it is, for the last 2+ years, Woody and I have also been part of a group involved in studying racial justice and meeting very regularly. And we felt drawn to, we were asked by Harriet Gaston, who some of you may know, based on the research she's been doing into the Black history of the area, to create a reenactment of a historical event happened in 1862. That 3 or 4, it's a little vague, slaves from Cumberland, Maryland, ran away and came to Altoona. And it's a very interesting story. I've written a script about it. I have a cast breakdown and stuff if anybody wants to know more about it. Most of us here wouldn't have big parts in the show. It's not that kind of a show. It's about people of color. And so, as you might guess, that's going to make casting even tricky. And so if you have any contacts, if you know anyone who might be interested in auditioning for this, particularly people of color, we would greatly appreciate you sending them our way. We hope we're going to be able to do this.
We posted in next season, it's gotta be, are you okay with like us just like taking that and maybe public posts on our own Facebook pages? Or try to share it out, because I have to do that online and then people can share it
Yeah.
around everywhere.
Yeah, very much so. And besides that, I don't know if anybody in your gardeners, or who you are if you are gardeners, but another program for our church that we do is creation care stuff, and the guy who's in charge of it obtained thousands of free trees and shrubs. They're not big, you're not digging this kind of a hole, you're digging this kind of a hole. But if you would like a native tree or shrub, he can provide one or more to you free. So I have a few of those flyers with me. If anybody is interested, I'll be glad to pass them around.
All right. Any other announcements?
The next general membership meeting is September 26th.
Mr. Listen,
Tom?
Oh, hi.
Things Unseen has a show coming up in September called Held With. It's, we're into diversity, it's about a prostitute.
Oh, wow. All righty.
Charles II, so, you know, who is responsible for, largely for women being allowed on the British stage, because they wanted to change their times.
All right.
So it's a good prostitute.
All right. Okay, so before we adjourn, just wanted to say a big thank you to Rich McGarvey for giving us the space. So make sure you thank him by buying lots of booze tonight, as long as you have a safe drive home.
And
All right.
sticking around for some karaoke. I've seen
Yeah.
them setting up. And there's flyers here on the front edge of this table and more subscription brochures if anybody needs them.
All righty, I'm waiting for that special motion.
I motion we adjourn.
Oh, motion and a second. All those in favor? All right, thanks, guys.